It's hard work, but it's worth it. Bring it on! We're battling raging waters right now in our quest to reveal to you one of the best fishing holes in the nation. Woo! Fish on! Oh, and these rapids? These guys aren't gonna let up, and neither are we. If we're not on our A game, these guys will chew us up and spit us out. All this right now on the Wildlife.
The Wildlife is presented by Fred Meyer.
Just over 2 hours by car southeast of Portland, past Mount Hood, is the city of Maupin. And a river runs through it, literally. The Deschutes River above and below the town of Maupin, Oregon is a unique and beautiful playground for whitewater boaters and fly fishermen alike.
Let's do this. All right. These waders are breathable, which is pretty sweet on a day like this where the sun's coming out. I tell you what, these things become like a sauna suit if you're wearing the neoprene ones. You just sweat, you get sticky, there's bugs crawling on you. These ones are kind of a soft nylon, breathe a little bit better. But I've got neoprene in the booties. Now these guys right here, these are kind of fun too. These are gravel guards. They just zip up, they're like a gator. What they do is they slide down over the top of your laces and hook. And this just makes it so when you're walking through like a gravel bed or something like that, it doesn't get down in your boots. Because you know, these things are watertight. Like there's nothing getting through this. So if I get gravel down in the booty or something like that and it punctures a hole, it makes for a wet walk back.
If you're a fish, you want to be here during the stonefly hatch. So if you're a fly fisherman, you want to do the exact same. This section of the Deschutes has always been lucky for me.
Yeah, this is a good area to fish in. Some nice current going right through here, but there's also some nice little pools where the trout are just gonna be holed up in. So I'm gonna take this. This is a golden stonefly. I wanna just put that out there so they can bite it. Matter of fact, right here. That's what we're trying to go for. These guys are flying around all over the place. And that's what the fish are eating right now. So these guys are mating and flying down on the water, dropping the eggs. And after a little while, the fish are just catching on to that and they're like, So, it's a pretty good look-alike. They're doppelgangers. All right. Right now it's the salmon fly hatchery, so all these bugs are flying around, mating like crazy. And this is the place to come because there's just an abundance of them. And this is the perfect time for it too, because with the sun coming out, it heats up, makes the bugs really active. It's like a bug aphrodisiac. So they're out there mating like crazy, and then the females are flying down to the water and dropping their eggs. And after a while, the fish catch on, and they're feeding on it. So I'm gonna get out here a little bit, and I'm gonna cast right through there. And this stuff right here is gonna make my fly float. Because right now with the bugs flying down near the water, they're not landing necessarily on the water or in the water, so they're just flying real close. So I want this guy to stay on the top. It's called a dry fly.
After my cast, you'll see I'm taking up the slack. That's called mending the line. You mend upstream so the fly doesn't move too fast across the water.
If you've ever seen someone fly casting, it looks like there's just this big weighted hook on the tip of it. That's the fly, but that's not where the weight comes from. It's actually this stuff. So when you see someone pull back like this stuff is gonna extend and go straight right behind the rod. That's gonna bend the rod. It's called loading the rod. It's gonna bend it back slightly, then you're gonna pull it forward and stop right there. What's gonna happen then is this stuff's gonna curl forward, real beautiful like, and it's gonna lay straight out on the water. And the idea is to get it to just lay flat just drift right there on the water and then float downstream. And if you can get that nice straight landing with your fly line, then in the water, that fly is gonna look like an actual fly, like a bug that just landed, and the fish are gonna look up and see it. And hopefully they're gonna be thinking, dinner. So you see it right there. Don't take your eyes off of it. At any moment, the fish could come up and take that. It's also a sport that really focuses on your senses because you're paying attention to your surroundings, you're watching the flies, you're watching the bugs around you, you're listening to the water, and you're working on your reflexes because at any second, a fish is going to take that and I've got to set the hook. Fish on! Oh man, but you know, the fun thing about fishing in this area is that these fish are strong. This is a big, powerful river. So even these little guys are used to fighting the water. So they're powerful fish. Try and get him up here a little bit. So now this is just a little guy. But this is what we came here for. That's a rainbow trout, and if you look at this, this is a specific trout for this river. This is a red side. It's just beautiful fish. They fight this river all the time. They just get this nice coloring right up the side there. But look at that guy. Look at the colors and the spots. Look at this. It's Mother Nature's natural camouflage. They just disappear. So, don't want to keep him out for too long. I want to take this hook out. I'm going to let this guy go. There he goes. This is it. You're just going down the river, and then boom, you're in the hole.
The recently refurbished Imperial River Company is right on the Deschutes and Maupin's best bet for lodging. And Maupin, of course, is the hub of fly fishing and whitewater boating on the Deschutes. Each room has its own theme and guest log. I recounted our awesome stay for posterity. The room was just what I needed after a long day on the river, and I was lucky enough to get one that was decorated with a friend. The rooms are comfortable and also feature little touches of flair by local artist Nancy Tipton. Parties large and small will find a good night's rest at the Imperial River Company, and that's what you need when you're about to be fishing all day. You could drop into the special section of the Deschutes River almost anywhere along its 250 miles and find its good fishing. But here, during a stonefly hatch, this section can be particularly fruitful.
Well, I'm starting to notice a couple more bugs flying around right now. What I'm going to do right now is put on a second fly. So I'm still going to keep fishing this one, but this is a caddis fly, and what it's going to do is when I cast out in the water, it's going to simulate one of these bugs coming up. Oh, gosh. I'm sitting here just taking in the moment, just kind of relaxed, dazed off in my own little world. Not really paying attention to my fly, and a fish just grabbed it. Fish on! So you can see I'm pulling him in. That top fly, he took that back fly, he took the caddis. Okay, make this quick. So he's another little guy. But I mean, he's a beautiful fish. Take this out real quick. And really, this is like a juvenile, you know, I mean, they're big fish, but this is a good fish. Put him back in here. And there he goes. One of the things you always hear fishermen talking about is sometimes you're fishing and sometimes you're waiting. Now I've caught a couple fish. Now we're fishing. I'm not waiting anymore.
Besides the world-class fly fishing, there is yet another wonderful diversion on the Deschutes.
If you come to Maupin, one thing you cannot pass up is rafting the Deschutes. So here we go. Just below right here, we're gonna hit up Boxcar Rapids. It's a nice class 4. Got a couple nice little tips in between there, so we're gonna get wet and have some fun. The Deschutes River is one of only a few rivers in Oregon that actually flows from the south up to the north. It starts at Little Lava Lake up in the Cascades, flows down into Lake Billy Chinook. It's joined by the Crooked and the Metolius, and then heads north. It eventually runs into the Columbia River up near the Dalles. These guys will chew us up and spit us out. You're just floating down the river, and all of a sudden this hole opens up before you. And what used to be beautiful scenery and nice water, all you see is the front of your raft just sticking up in your face. All right. Work with me here.
Because this stretch of the river is dam controlled, the Deschutes offers kayakers and rafters a consistent and predictable flow, and some pretty huge water. When we return, I'll try to tackle the most feared rapid on this stretch of the Deschutes.
This is the wildlife. This, woo!
The Wildlife is presented by Fred Meyer.
With its powerful recirculation hole and razor-sharp lava rock beneath the surface, Oak Springs is a rapid you don't want to face alone. So I brought some friends along.
This is it, right up here. We're gonna go right through these light little rapids, and then there's a blind drop. You're just going down the river, and then boom, you're in the hole. Right after that, there's a recirculation pool that can actually suck you back into the rapid. Right after that, you've got to paddle, and there's all these different channels that you've got to paddle through because underneath the water, they're like razor blades. Once upon a time, I had a buddy that was on the Oregon wrestling team, and he got pulled into the water in this area and just gashed the heck out of his leg. I mean, it was like meatloaf on his leg. A couple other buddies were fishing right below this river and found a dead body. This kid had actually drowned. at this rapid. So this thing is not to be taken lightly. And we're going through it. So we're going underneath this tree. We're gonna hit these rollers. And here in just a couple seconds, we're dropping in.
Yeah, we're good. Hit this and bring the boat.
Here we go.
Paddle at the bank. Be ready.
Game on! Woo!
And paddle forward. Hardcore now, hardcore.
Woo-hoo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! This is the wildlife. This, woo!
It's funny, for such a small town, Maupin has a lot of fly fishing shops. One of the best known is Deschutes Angler.
This is the place to be for steelhead and for
People
trout.
thought I was crazy when I opened my store down here. They go, "You gotta be kidding me. There's no way you could survive in a population less than 1 million. And population 350 and life doesn't get any better."
Owner John Hazel's 32 years of fly fishing experience are a real help if you've got any questions about fishing on the Deschutes. And there is no shortage of gear either.
I'm looking at your store. You're not surviving, man. You're thriving. This place is just booming. You've got everything in here.
It's awesome. I mean, if people want to buy it, we've got it. If it's made, if it's any good, if it's used in fly fishing, we carry it in stock.
Deschutes Angler stocks a mind-blowing 150,000 flies. Now armed with a fresh new array of flies, I thought I'd try my luck at another spot.
Wasn't a whole lot of good fishing back at that last hole. I mean, the couple little guys. So we came here to this one. It's got a little bit more promise to it. And I'm gonna fish right along this seam. I think there'll be some good fish in there. And regardless of if we get this last big one, you know, this last big fish that everyone's always on the hunt for, at the end of the day, you're tired, it's been a good day on the river. It's been a good day of fishing. Pretty much every time you get out here, it's not always about the fishing. It's about being outside. It's about being on the river. It's about enjoying the environment and just getting away and letting yourself just give in to the water. And right now, it's about that beautiful cast that I just put out there. Oh, and catching that fish right there. Woo! Fish on! Man, that is exciting. I just said it a little bit ago. It's like sometimes you get that perfect cast, and you're like, if I were a fish, I'd eat that. Yeah, he's fighting a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Don't want to lose him. There we go. Now that's a good sized fish. I mean, look at this guy. Beautiful rainbow trout. Rainbows are such beautiful fish.
After a full day of fishing and rafting, I dropped in for a drink and some conversation with a couple of local guides.
And we do everything from your half-day trip to your 5-day trip, custom-designed fishing trip, everything you want to do. And there's a lot of opportunities around here also for sightseeing and fishing in lakes and a lot of other activities. And this is rated by Outdoor Life as the #1 place in the state of Oregon for outdoor activity with the hunting and the fishing and the combination of proximity to Portland and Mount Hood and airport. So they did a survey in Outdoor Life and they rated this the #1 place in the state of Oregon.
When the wildlife returns, we're gonna hit the water in a different way. Stick around. Bring it on! Woo-hoo-hoo! We've fished the waters, we've been on the water, but we have yet to be in the water. Nothing that a little body surfing won't solve. Here we go! As we ride the lower elevator down the Deschutes. Bring it on! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Oh, yeah! Woo! Woohoo! Oh! Dear grandfather, if this card smells fishy, then there's a reason for that. I came to Maupin, Oregon for its legendary fishing and savage whitewater. This area has a history loaded with conflict and action, and I just added to it. It was a great day of rafting, trout fishing, and I even went for a little swim. You have got to come here. Love, Jeremy. That's a salmon fly. It's a big old orange bug. And these things are absolutely fearless. They'll just be flying around and then fly right up to your face. And these guys are hatching like crazy right now, so they're flying all over the place.
Oh, first fish of the day. He wasn't much bigger than the fly.
The Wildlife has been presented by Fred Meyer.